Welcome. I'm Linda McFarland, Executive Director of the Community Loan Fund of the Capital Region. Thank you all for joining us here tonight to celebrate our 35 years of community lending. This organization was founded on the belief that when it comes to community development, community comes first. We believe that everyone deserves an opportunity to participate in the prosperity of this region, and our goal is to provide capital, training, and guidance to make that vision a reality. I'd like to thank the stakeholders, investors, board members, volunteers, and staff for their commitment to our vision and the energy that they bring to this mission every day. Over our 35-year history, we've been able to lend $65 million and leverage over $200 million additional dollars in capital investment for community development projects. We have helped launch and grow over 300 minority and women-owned businesses. We have helped to create almost 3,000 jobs and restore more than 200 commercial units back to productive use. We have helped to build 1,600 affordable housing units, ensuring that families, seniors, and individuals are able to find safe and healthy places to live. The Community Loan Fund has financed close to 950 community projects. Thanks to the hard work of this team, nonprofit organizations across our region can continue to provide essential community services and grow to meet expanding needs. These projects cover the gamut, from health and safety to arts and environment. But the thing they all have in common is that they assist our region's most vulnerable. Whether it's providing bridge loans for homeless shelters, or financing housing for individuals with special needs, or supporting the growth of programs that serve children in foster care. The Community Loan Fund is your partner in making our region a better and more equitable place to live and work. As you know, private investment funds the bulk of our lending capital. Socially conscious individuals and companies invest in the Community Loan Fund and earn up to 1.75% interest annually. Over the course of the last 5 years, we have seen marked increase in the number of new investors. In fact, so far in 2020, we have added 35 new investors to our ranks. That is double the number of investors we welcomed in all of 2016. These investments have brought our total investment portfolio to $9.2 million. This year, COVID devastated our region. The coronavirus pandemic and the resulting shutdown hit our small business community hard. With the support of our board of directors, the Community Loan Fund mobilized to respond very quickly. Our board chair, John Stigaitis, will talk about some of the ways that the Community Loan Fund assisted small business owners and nonprofit organizations during the last 6 months. John?
Thank you, Linda, and good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for this high-tech, low-touch Community Loan Fund annual event. I'm John Stigaitis, and I'm very honored to be president of the Loan Fund's board of directors. It's a privilege to serve the Loan Fund and my colleagues on the board, and by extension, the borrowers and investors throughout the 11 counties where we operate. Under the guidance and dedication of the Loan Fund's wonderful management and staff, and with the inspiring support of investors and community partners, the Community Loan Fund scaled new heights in 2019-2020, marking its 35th year of advocacy for minority, women, and low-income owned businesses, and not-for-profits serving the Upper Hudson Valley's and Eastern Mohawk Valley's disadvantaged and vulnerable. Following a record volume of new lending in 2019, with over 300 jobs created and retained, the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic was a call to new ways for the Community Loan Fund to protect even more jobs and futures of its borrowers and of other small businesses. The Loan Fund took a starring role in the COVID-19 Small Business Continuity Grant Program, right in the Capital Region, to help businesses stay afloat during the crisis. Studies showed minority and women-owned businesses were disproportionately impacted by this pandemic, and that federal aid programs failed to serve them. The COVID-19 Small Business Continuity Grant Program was a lifeline for these small businesses. Businesses were able to use grant funds up to $20,000 to make payroll, pay bills, and keep their operations going. Funded by area banks, foundations, the Capital Region Chamber, and business leaders, the grant program was administered by the Community Loan Fund, from evaluating applications to dispersing the grants. As a result of these efforts, we were able to distribute over $176,000 to minority and women-owned businesses. We were also able to lay the groundwork for new partnerships with Schenectady and Colony to help coordinate their COVID grant programs. The Loan Fund will use our expertise to disperse another $450,000 in critical funds to businesses within these municipalities in order to ensure their success. The Community Loan Fund also assisted its borrowers by making its own emergency loans and by deferring payments on nearly a third of its outstanding loans. For its continuing support of existing businesses and fostering entrepreneurship in our region, the Loan Fund quickly switched training and technical assistance to online sessions, when the initiative in 2019 to digitize many of its training offerings with funding from JP Morgan Chase Bank bore fruit in 2020. Over 600 individuals received training and technical assistance in 2019, including 40 graduates of the 8-week business planning courses offered in collaboration with the College of St. Rose. Enrollment was strong in the first ever all virtual 8-week class in 2020, coupled with 33 live online workshops and expanded offerings in the online course catalog. This brings the exciting prospect of greater coverage of the 11 counties we served, with more convenience for the participants. The Community Loan Fund's training and technical assistance also has been put to use in assisting small landlords seeking assistance from Community Preservation Corp under the New York Forward Loan Program, another recent response to the pandemic. Creation of its emerging investors network also helps ensure continued funding for such programs by enabling people to embark on socially responsible investing in amounts they can afford. Now I'm pleased to let you enjoy and learn from presentations by borrowers, staff, and supporters on how they experience that gratifying work that the Community Loan Fund carries out every day, as they have for 35 years. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
When we started out, I moved here from Romania, and together with my wife, we had this idea to start our own business. So when we looked around, we were new in the country, I was new in the country, and there weren't that many options available to us. So when we found the Community Loan Fund, they were able to provide us with a loan that will get our business on its feet. And not only that, but they offered us so much more than just a loan. They offered us guidance, they offered us education, they helped us put together our business plan, and they helped us throughout the whole process.
The Community Loan Fund has been an integral part for our studio, Dance Fire Studio. We are so grateful, and without them, we wouldn't have been successful.
So the Community Loan Fund was actually one of the first partners with Seat Center. In 2015, I started Seat Center, and one of the biggest worries I had was cash and was having the ability to operate a nonprofit organization. So I reached out to Dorian at the Community Loan Fund, and I didn't know anything about how to make that happen, and he walked me through it step by step. So I think it was like in our first month of being incorporated that we entered that partnership with the Loan Fund.
Of course, it has been a difficult time for us, and we have been trying to stay very positive and trying to always reconnect and stay in contact with all our students and our Dance Fire family. Also, we were very happy to receive help from the Community Loan Fund. We did receive a grant, which was extremely helpful and kind of got us back on our feet. And hopefully, we'll only get better from now.
What I would want nonprofits and small businesses to know about the Community Loan Fund is I would really encourage you to reach out and start a relationship now. Start that relationship before you need it. I think what I see happen is we get it, we think we have it figured out, or we have a plan and that plan doesn't work, and then we're up against a wall. And so my suggestion is start that relationship before you need it. it's going to benefit you and it's going to provide you peace of mind and security for all the different things that are unexpected that come at you as a business leader, because we're all leading in companies and we're in the time right now where having that security in that person, that organization like the Community Loan Fund to walk alongside you is just that extra security.
So Dance Fire Studio is very happy to reopen. We are finally open and we're ready to welcome everyone who wants to dance in our very safe studio.
We've been very fortunate to be able to reopen, as my wife mentioned, and we can't wait to see everyone back on their feet, enjoying themselves, and all of this being done in a very safe environment. So we're very proud of that, and we can't wait to see you all.
Hi, my name is Paul Stewart, and I'm the Director of Training and Technical Assistance for the Community Loan Fund. As we reflect on the Community Loan Fund's 35 years of service, it's important to recognize that training and technical assistance has always been at the core of what we do. Our first formal training course began in 2001, but we were teaching and providing guidance to borrowers from the very beginning. Each of our lending officers sits down with clients and walks them through the lending process, but they also stick with them after the loan is closed, making sure they're staying on track and providing helpful advice if they need to pivot. Our staff goes that extra mile, and that's the reason we have been able to turn some of the riskiest loans into some of the region's favorite businesses. Our training program has grown markedly over the last 2 decades. We provide 3 8-week business courses a year, as well as a dozen free workshops. My staff and I meet one-on-one with entrepreneurs to help them tackle thorny issues and providing a sounding board for new ideas. The Community Loan Fund also operates a business incubator at the Albany office. We rent low-cost office suites to emerging businesses and nonprofits. This year, COVID challenged us, but we have risen to meet the challenge. We adopted new tools, Zoom, and our new online training platform, Edupreneur, to present workshops, and we maintained our relationships with business owners through regular phone and online meetings. Here's a bit more about the training and technical assistance we provide.
Well, at the Community Loan Fund, we do a wide variety of workshops and classes and seminars. We also do a lot of one-on-one counseling with people in order to help them develop their business plans, to help them to be ready to sustain themselves in the operation of their business.
During COVID, we've also put a lot of our workshops online. We've started doing our 8-week business startup class online. And we have our online learning platform, Edupreneur, which has a lot of different resources, both COVID and non-COVID general business resources, as well as some courses that you can take asynchronous, meaning anytime you want. And that's on Edupreneur, our online learning platform.
The class was really extremely beneficial. I got an opportunity to see how business plans are created using things like market demographics, financial analysis, real estate, and putting it all together in one package. The fact that we had an opportunity to talk with experts in the field, and for me, understanding, I get a lot of questions myself on target markets, and it was really nice to talk to an expert about how they go about getting that data initially.
And early on, during the initial stages of the pandemic, there were a number of federal programs that came out to help businesses to be able to survive the pandemic. And we put together a number of help sheets that people could use, and also did a lot of one-on-one counseling with people.
A lot of the programs that have come out have been really helpful, but because a lot of the applications and resources for them have been changing quite a bit. It's been a little bit confusing for a lot of businesses. And so we tried to stay on top of that. And we're always available for one-on-one counseling for applications or something like that where somebody needs some specific questions answered.
The Community Loan Fund has been helpful to Kima's Creations because they provided me a space that I was able to bring people in instead of having them into my home. I've been able to then increase that space, which allows me to have even more traffic to my business. I have been able to upgrade to what's essentially a 4-room space where I'm allowed to have my equipment in one room and be able to have my customers in a completely separate space. I signed my lease for the Community Loan Fund June of 2018, where within that time frame up to now, I've been able to expand into a larger space. And I appreciate everything that they've done because they have been consistent in pushing me to stay focused with driving my business, even while working a full-time job. Like everyone else, COVID has been somewhat devastating to the community, the nation as a whole. Community Loan Fund was able to provide me with a grant that assisted me with my business and be able to pivot my business to make masks and not just bags. Where I'm a bag designer and a seamstress, no one was able to provide or splurge on buying bags or clothing at the time. We all needed to eat. We all needed to be safe. So because I'm a seamstress, I'm able to pivot my business, make masks, and be able to still stay in business. And the Community Loan Fund was able to help me with that, providing me with the grant so that I can get the necessary equipment and staff that I needed at the time.
As a member of the Albany community, and I live at the border of Center Square and Washington Park, I see every day how places like the Community Loan Fund actually helps foster new business, support new business, help new business grow. I think every community should have a community loan fund that helps that, especially in the time of COVID.
Hi, I'm Dorian Wells, Senior Lending Officer for the Community Loan Fund. 2020 has been a watershed year for the racial justice movement. This year, people across the globe marched in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement and reaffirmed their commitment to equality. As a result, cities across the country are attempting to redefine criminal justice and what it means to police our fellow Americans fairly. Companies, large and small, have begun to take a hard look at their business practices in order to undo years of systemic oppression. Elected officials are grappling with issues of representation and how to ensure that the voices that have historically been left out are finally heard. As a stakeholder in the Community Loan Fund, you will be pleased to know the Community Loan Fund was founded on the principles of creating a more just community. Moreover, over the course of our 35-year history, the Community Loan Fund has set an example, fleshing out our core values through our diverse staffing, board composition, and committee makeup. We believe financial inclusion is essential to a healthy, equitable community. By providing equitable access to capital, we are ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Our loans create a foundation upon which businesses, families, and whole neighborhoods and communities can flourish. Each day, we have the privilege of working with some of the brightest and most resilient entrepreneurs and nonprofit organizational leaders in the region. These individuals have come up with solutions to problems that plague us all and services to enhance all of our lives. These individuals are innovative, they are energetic, they are determined, But what they lack is capital. And without capital, these amazing ideas and services will never see the light of day. Earlier this year, Raphael Bostic, President and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, wrote that the country has both a moral and economic imperative to end racism. Quote, systemic racism is a yoke that drags on the American economy, Bostic explained. By limiting economic and educational opportunities for a large number of Americans, we are limiting the country's potential. The economic contributions of these Americans in the form of new products and new ideas is less than what it would have been, he writes. We at the Community Loan Fund know that financial inclusion benefits everyone. It advances our whole community and region. And this is one of the many reasons why Black Lives Matter. By providing loans to small businesses and nonprofit organizations, the Community Loan Fund is empowering a new generation of innovators and thought leaders to solve problems that affect us all. Through our lending and training, the Community Loan Fund is leading the way in creating a capital region that is based not just on what should be, but what could be. Thank you for supporting the Community Loan Fund's passionate efforts toward achieving racial and financial equality.
We've been investors with Community Loan Fund for more than 30 years. At first, originally, we were attracted to its support for first-time home ownership. We liked the fact that they provided funding and also that they helped new homeowners get the success they were looking for.
I am president of the Board of Trustees of Historic Cherry Hill, a historic house museum located on South Pearl Street in Albany South End. Many years ago, the Community Loan Fund loaned money to Cherry Hill to support our ongoing restoration project. Another board member mentioned that she was an investor in the Community Loan Fund, and that piqued my interest. I did some research and learned how flexible it is. Also, I believe in the community projects they choose to support. I believe it is important to support those living in underprivileged circumstances to improve their lives, which in turn benefits society as a whole. Investing in the Community Loan Fund is one way I can help. That's why I decided to become an investor in the Community Loan Fund.
And I first became familiar with the Community Loan Fund about 10 years ago. The nonprofit that I worked for at the time was a borrower. I got to know the loan fund staff, who were incredibly supportive in helping me, a relatively new business manager, manage that loan and even apply for new ones. I was so appreciative of their technical assistance and guidance. I grew to respect and admire the loan fund's mission, and 3 years ago, I became a member of its lending committee. I learned firsthand the depth and breadth of the community served by the Community Loan Fund, and truly came to appreciate how CDFIs are instrumental in revitalizing neighborhoods and supporting minority and women-owned businesses, as well as countless nonprofit organizations. Earlier this year, I became an investor in the Community Loan Fund. It became clear to me early in the COVID-19 pandemic that access to capital was going to be an enormous concern for nonprofits and women and minority-owned businesses, and that traditional banks, even smaller community banks, were not going to be a realistic resource for those businesses, the ones that make up the backbone of our communities. CDFIs are more important than ever and support a diverse tapestry of people and industries, from entrepreneurs, affordable housing, childcare, and even arts organizations. I'm so proud that my small but personally significant investment will help expand access for low-income and disadvantaged households and business owners to capital that is not available to them through traditional lenders. My journey from borrower to investor has come full circle.
Well, first I want to say that we've been investors since 2003, and we were drawn to the fund because it's obvious that the mission of the fund is to assist
deserving people who are either immigrants or low income people of color to have a dignified way to live in the local communities. And the fact that the Loan Fund supports minority people through money, but not just money, by providing also training and background support to ensure that whatever business they attempt to set up is successful is what really makes a huge difference as far as we're concerned.
I'm continually surprised at the way the fund keeps broadening the range of its programs while maintaining its focus on its core mission. It's far more than a bank. Its various components continue to add to the support for entrepreneurs, and this is truly an impressive addition to their arsenal.
We're very excited to be able to support the efforts that are so needed and productive that the Loan Fund does by helping entrepreneurs and not-for-profits overcome obstacles that they encounter in distressed neighborhoods and make a difference by creating jobs for people who have not had the opportunities of education and employment that many of us have had, and that they've been left out of. We're especially excited and enthusiastic about employee ownership. That's a huge help for people.
You know, the Community Loan Fund is really making a difference in the inequality that exists, one small business at a time. And we feel both delighted and privileged to be part of this effort, and we encourage other people to get involved as well.
It's very rewarding to be involved with the Community Loan Fund.
Good evening. I'm Linda Chandler, Director of Investments at the Community Loan Fund. It is my pleasure to work with our diverse portfolio of investors and to ensure that we serve their individual investing needs. Every year I look forward to greeting and thanking you in person at our annual event. So I hope next year, when we will have our first 35-year investors, we will all be together. We are lucky to have many, many long-term investors in our organization who have reached what we call milestone years. Each year at our annual event, we like to recognize and honor their commitment to the Loan Fund and its mission. Many are here tonight, and I want to thank them for joining us. First, let's recognize our investors who have been with us for 30 years, when we were still known as the Capital District Community Loan Fund. Those investors joined our ranks in 1990. That year, we reached our 100th investor, and we published our first newsletter. Thank you for your commitment to the Loan Fund and our work. Next, we have our 25-year investors who joined us in 1995. The year our assets exceeded $1 million. Many thanks for your support over the years. Here are our 20-year investors. These individuals and organizations made their investment way back in 2000, or Y2K, as we once called it. In that year, with your support, our loans to community development projects exceeded $2 million. And now our 15-year investors who came on board in 2005. That year, investments from socially concerned investors like these exceeded $4 million. Here's our 10-year investors who made their commitment back in 2010, the year we rebranded as Community Loan Fund of the Capital Region. And finally, here are our 5-year milestone investors. They joined our team in 2015, and with their help, we made $4.5 million in loans, the most ever in 1 year up until that point. We want to take a moment to thank all the milestone investors and all of our investors. Without you, we would not have been able to have provided our community development services to 950 projects and served thousands of Capital Region residents.
Thank you, Linda. I would like to take a moment to thank our honorary committee who helped sponsor this event. We owe so much to the generosity of these companies and individuals. Thank you for your belief in our mission and your support of our programming. It's thanks to you that we can continue to serve the region and bring new businesses to light and new projects to fruition. We are so grateful for your continued partnership. I want to close tonight by asking all of you to remember our local businesses and nonprofit organizations. Please shop local this holiday season. If you're eating out, please consider a locally owned restaurant. If you're buying services, please consider a locally owned vendor. These decisions are more important now than ever. To help you shop local and to keep local businesses top of mind, we're sending each of you a coupon booklet containing offers from some of the businesses and nonprofit organizations we have worked with. I urge you to use all of these coupons and share them with your friends and your neighbors. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Be safe, be kind, and take care of one another. Good night.